Alright, what we're gonna watch? SCP-2000 Deus Ex Machina, a Thaumiel Foundation made SCP. Now, this is funny enough. This is the first uh, SCP Foundation made SCP. I don't think any of the other ones have been Foundation made. However, I think the closest one would have been SCP-3000. SCP-3000, I would not 3000, 3001. 3001, I think you could argue is Foundation made simply because of how they were doing an experiment and that's what caused them to go there. So I think Red Reality might have been one, even if it's not classified. I say we get right on into it. Y'all ready? Oh, okay, yeah, I like that. Oh, VCR,
Warning,
so good.
HMCL and O5 approval required. The file you are attempting to access is available to personnel with level 4-2000 clearance only. This clearance is not included in general level 4 security protocol. Attempting access beyond this point without necessary clearance is grounds for termination of Foundation employment and cancellation of all educational, medical, retirement, and mortality benefits. By submitting your credentials, you hereby consent to exposure to a known cognitohazardous image, and verify that you have been inoculated against that image. In the event of unauthorized access, this console will become inoperable. Security personnel will be dispatched to revive you and escort you to a detention cell for interrogation. Attempting to access this file from any computer not connected to the Foundation intranet will result in immediate termination, regardless of clearance.
Hmm.
Submit login credentials. Level 4-2000 clearance required. Security cognitohazard activated. Scanning for neural activity.
It's a road.
Consciousness confirmed. Retrieving file.
Remember us.
You people don't get it. I don't think you ever will.
Item number SCP-2000. Object class Thaumiel. Special containment procedures. The entrance to SCP-2000 is disguised as a disused park ranger station in Yellowstone National Park. Despite several civilian trespassing attempts, the entrance has yet to be breached in the installation's recorded history, and no further physical containment has been deemed necessary. Protocol Plain Sight 201 is in effect for SCP-2000. Necessary supplies and replacement personnel may be delivered via unmarked road vehicles or civilian helicopter as appropriate.
Why does the way this looks reminds me a lot of how people describe the path with the spiraling and all. And I've seen this somewhere. I can't remember where I've seen this. It was in one of my reactions. I think it was 3000. No, it wasn't 3000. Why do I keep thinking 3000? I think it was. No, it was with the SCP classes explained. When it was talking about Thaumiel, it did mention this. So, yeah, you know what? It's good that I found this one. It's a full uh thing. It reminds me of 7819 because if in 7819 I jokingly said that it was the entire land. But if you remember in that reaction, there was a guy, and this guy at the end, uh, asked them, kept asking them, "Why don't you stay? Why don't you stay? Why don't you stay?" And when you talk to him, you have to constantly tell him, "You want to leave, you want to leave, you want to leave." He was the SCP. It's not the hotel. It's not the parking lot. It's not the land. So if by 2000 it's underneath the land, underneath the road, then it would be a more hidden thing. So I wonder if it is something alive underneath it or if it's something that will manifest itself above.
No personnel below level 4-2000 clearance are permitted access to documentation regarding SCP-2000 or any protocols associated with its containment and upkeep. No personnel below level 5-2000 clearance are permitted access to SCP-2000 below sub-level 3. All personnel assigned to SCP-2000 must submit to a neural archetype scan on a monthly basis. Personnel stationed on site must submit to weekly scans to be stored locally. Level 4-2000 personnel or above stationed on site are not permitted to leave Yellowstone National Park during the course of their assignment. In the event of transfer, either elective or compulsory, Class A amnestics must be administered and false memories implanted consistent with assignment to other high-security or Keter-class SCP objects. Additional personnel may be assigned to SCP-2000 and granted temporary Level 4-2000 clearance at the discretion of the item's HMCL supervisor, currently Dr. Charles Gears, and O5 Command. The exterior surface of SCP-2000 is surrounded by Scranton reality anchors or SRAs every 20 meters, arranged hexagonally to prevent incursion by hostile anomalous interference. Each SRA's function must be checked semi-annually and replaced as necessary. Technicians servicing SRA components may reference document SRA-033 revision 1.0.7. 5 exacs capable of maintaining stable tachyon flux across the expanse of the facility, maximum output rating at 100 watts each, have been installed and are to be maintained monthly. Technicians servicing exacs components across the expanse of 5 exacs capable of maintaining stable tachyon flux across the expanse of the facility, maximum output rating at 100 watts each, have been installed and are to be maintained monthly. Technicians servicing exacs components may refer to document exacs 864 revision 1.3.0. One pseudo-Riemannian manifold has been initiated at the entrance to sub-level 4 and must remain open at all times. In the event of the manifold's failure, procedure Dead Euclid 101 is to be executed immediately. Other non-anomalous life support and utility systems may be maintained in accordance with standard Foundation maintenance protocol.
Okay, I'm understanding a little bit of it. I will say, zoned out for just a second because this is going to seem very strange. They're hiding stuff within the lines moving. There was a 3. There's a lime green 3 right there. And as soon as I seen it, I went back. So I immediately saw it. They're hiding stuff with the way that the waves move. Now, they did say Scranton. And Dr. Scranton is the guy from Red Reality, SCP-3001. So this has to be earlier work, especially due to the numbering. So I'm trying to put a connection between them. Because in 3001, he is working on a machine with his wife. He ends up going through a wormhole, goes in between dimensions, and is stuck there for 5 years. And he doesn't have any food, water, and slowly begins to disintegrate due to the hume levels keeping him alive. The only thing keeping him alive. When it comes back, the machine does red, as he puts it. His hand touches it, seeing it back, and it then gets cut off. When it gets into the real world, it's the only example of what's left of him, basically. Which I had jokingly said the comment of, if he was to leave it, wouldn't he just immediately die? He hasn't had anything to eat or drink. So what I think, what might happen is, I want to know if they could dehume a room and then brought Dr. Scranton in, if it would then be able to keep him alive.
Section 101.5, Mission Critical Components. Wherever possible, non-anomalous materials and resources are to be used for SCP-2000's maintenance and repair. In the event of any K-Class scenario which does not compromise the existence or function of SCP-2000, Procedure CYA-009 is to be enacted as soon as possible. Remaining Foundation installations globally are to monitor the scenario as it unfolds, preserving what material resources are possible under the Ganymede Protocol, until such time as all remaining sites respond all clear to SCP-2000 queries as defined in Document 2000 XKAC-1.9. Upon receipt of all clear code, Procedure Lazarus 01 is to be implemented. Administrator Note:
I want this on permanent record, and I don't rightly care if you think it's an insult to your intelligence. Some things are just this important. This device is absolutely not an excuse to let down our god or take greater risks with SCP objects, or cross-test them, or whatever you might have in mind.
There was an O. There was an O. Hold on.
Objects, or cross-test them, or whatever you might have in mind. Primary...
Where'd it go? I'm not crazy. I swear. There was a 0. There was a 0 right there. I'm not lying. Where'd it go?
Some things are just this important. This device is absolutely not an excuse to let down our god or take greater risks with SCP objects, or cross-test them, or whatever you might have in mind. Primary containment is still our best chance at survival. Otherwise, there would be no reason to make the cover-up so extensive. We can only suspend God's disbelief so many times before the universe just says no. And considering what we've had to deal with in these past few decades, we may have passed that point already.
It says past few decades. And if we're to look at the overarching history, they would have had a rough couple years. And I do mean rough. Especially with just trying to contain a few of the very few. Because the lower numbered are some just the ones that they probably encountered first. And just to think that some of the lower ones are things like the Gate Guardian, 096, 049, uh, the Peanut, Cain Abel. A lot of these would have caused immense fear and probably strain on them as well. The only issue is I don't know if this is Dr. Gear or if this is Scranton. If it's Scranton's voice, uh, it would make a little bit of sense, especially due to his uh, want of not wanting to mix stuff. And it would also explain how he got onto 3001.
Former Administrator Dr. William Fritz.
Description:
This is Dr. William Fritz.
We may have passed that point already. Former Administrator Dr. William Fritz.
Description: SCP-2000 is a subterranean Foundation installation originally constructed sometime in the last years for the purpose of reconstructing civilization in the event that a K-class end-of-the-world scenario could not be averted in time to prevent humanity's extinction or near extinction. Since its inception, SCP-2000 has been activated at least twice.
So SCP-2000 is basically a copy paste of when something's going to come by and delete. Basically, you do a copy, and then after the deletion happens, then you can do the paste. If I'm reading into this right?
Not be averted in time to prevent humanity's extinction or near extinction. Since its inception, SCP-2000 has been activated at least twice. Foundation records regarding SCP-2000's construction and history prior to this assumed first use have been lost. Whether this information blackout is the result of accident or design is impossible to determine. The mission-critical portion of this installation begins 75 meters below ground level and extends to a 100-meter depth. Although the scope of engineering required to recreate SCP-2000 in its entirety is impossible to execute while maintaining secrecy, all subsystems of SCP-2000 have been successfully reproduced in laboratory setting. The installation and all procedures involved in its upkeep are mundane in nature. See Document 2000 SSEX for information regarding esoteric Foundation technologies necessary for SCP-2000's function. Primary power for the facility is a liquid fluoride thorium reactor, or LFTR, rated for 1 gigawatt total output, with a reactor life of 70 years at maximum capacity. A geothermal generator has also been installed to take advantage of the region's volcanic activity. This generator is capable of powering the facility in standby mode indefinitely. SCP-2000 also contains water treatment facilities, air purification and recycling systems, hydroponic production wings, and housing necessary to permanently sustain up to 10,000 personnel.
Uh, okay, yeah, it makes sense. I was going to make a comment of why not just do a nuclear power system. However, it makes a lot more sense of why you wouldn't. If it's supposed to hold 10,000 people, it's it would make sense you wouldn't want nuclear. Instead, you would probably want something that is a little bit more reliable. And with the fluoride, it could still work. The only issue I have is how you would have some of the uh, ways for it to be hooked up. Because some of that I feel like would get a little bit tangled, is the word I'm thinking of.
To fulfill its primary mission, SCP-2000 includes 500,000 bright Zarshian hominid replicators, or BZHRs. At peak capacity, SCP-2000 is capable of producing 100,000 viable, non-anomalous humans per day, with a warm-up period of 5 days. Utilizing an underground Romanian transit pipe to collect raw material from various hot springs and underground magma flows in the area, and a computer memory bank housing data on all known human alleles, this system is capable of recreating any lost human genome or generating as many new and unique genomes as necessary to repopulate human civilization. Researcher
It's a cloning machine. They built a cloning machine that will make new people to take over the world if the world gets destroyed. That way, humanity continuously lives on. That's what they built, a cloning machine.
note.
Use of the BZHR system is currently suspended outside of maintenance testing and emergency situations. CYA-009 is still go. Possible hostile incursion is still being investigated, and this database is proving particularly difficult to debug. We're still seeing a distribution of congenital and genetic defects far above baseline numbers. Right now, I can only guarantee about 60 to 75 viability and new specimens. See Addendum 2000-1. Dr. Christopher Ziarton, MD. Biotech Research and Development.
You can't bring them back.
Humans produced by this process can be advanced to any age desired without extending the 5-day incubation period.
You can't bring them back.
Humans produced by this process can be advanced to any age desired.
I like that they added that. You can't bring them back because you're not bringing them back. You're just putting in a replica, a clone, a substitute. That's what it is. It's not the real thing. And also, what I like is how that there's constantly changing stuff in this photo. Down here, there is a orb. Somewhere around here, there was a 0 here, a green 3 there. That opened up only after the video was watched. There's stuff being changed within the video if you look closely enough, with the lines going up.
Without extending the 5-day incubation period. In addition to construction features, the BZHR also has the ability to implant memories by administration of Class G hallucinogenics and developmental hypnotherapy. life histories, neural archetype scans, and genomes of many Foundation personnel, including all personnel of Level 4-2000 clearance and above, are maintained to ensure that SCP-2000 may be activated and Procedure Lazarus-01 can be initiated by as few as one surviving human. After the implementation of the Ganymede Protocol, indicating a failure of the Foundation to prevent a K-class scenario, SCP-2000 security systems will unlock, allowing any Foundation employee to initiate Procedure CYA-009. If, after 20 years, SCP-2000 remains inactive, security will be relaxed further, allowing any non-anomalous human being to access the facility and initiate the procedure. Once activated, SCP-2000's internal monitoring systems will attempt to locate all personnel of Level 4-2000 clearance and assess their condition. Mission-critical personnel not found will be replicated using the most recent neural archetype scan on file and awakened prior to the initialization of any other systems.
Did you catch that?
After these personnel are clearance and assess their condition. Mission-critical personnel not found will be replicated using the most recent neural archetype scan on file and awakened prior to the initialization of any other systems.
Did you
I want to know who this is. It's like a human, but it's not really. Unless it's the O5 Council. Another thing that I enjoy is it specifically has it to where it will stay locked up if it's not people that immediately should go to it. And once it reacts, or it lowers the security for, let's say, one of these SCPs to walk into, it would then fire on the machine itself, make the most important people to then be able to continue to do the recreating, the cloning process of bringing back humanity in a way. I like that. That's interesting.
catch that?
After these personnel are revived, security locks will resume normal function. For a complete list of contingency options available, Level 5-2000 personnel may access Document 2000 CYA-09. Note that the receipt of the all-clear code as defined by Document 2000 XKAC-1.9 may be waived only if all other Foundation facilities have been rendered inoperative. Otherwise, security and MTF elements revived under Procedure CYA-009 will be dispatched to all remaining Foundation facilities to confirm their function and the integrity of local reality. Procedure Lazarus-01 will begin when an authorized Level 5-2000 Foundation employee inputs the desired resume date into SCP-2000's BZHR control unit. Available units will then begin production of prominent political and cultural leaders of the time period using descriptions and genetic information on file, as well as replication of a global populace consistent with the chosen time period. Most of SCP-2000's floor space is dedicated to storage of building materials, construction equipment, factory machinery, agricultural equipment, and computer database storage. In addition to infrastructure concerns, a wide cultural base with copies of thousands of famous works of art, music, literature, and a full backup of the World Wide Web are kept on site in the event that other repositories are destroyed. HM
A funny little thing he mentions there is a backup of the World Wide Web. The issue is how what would happen if the web is backed up newer than the people, and then the people end up seeing, hey, there's stuff that hasn't happened yet, and then would they just be Pavloved into believing it was fake, that it was crazy, or would it instead cause a almost like a paradox, uh, where it's like a butterfly effect of, hey, this hasn't happened yet, but I know what's going to happen. I shouldn't know what's about to happen, and does it still happen, or will something else happen instead? It's just my thought process.
MCL note. Discover this note in previous iteration records at Lazarus-01 conclusion.
Researcher note. If we ever have to do this again, do not set the resume date further back than 20 years before the event. Not only can we piggyback on a lot of undestroyed structures if we do, but it will make continuity a lot easier to resume. Years is too many.
I paused it too soon. I knew that humanity was really dumb and they took it way too far back than what they should have. Alright, so this says that you're not supposed to go more than 20. I feel like 20 is still too much. I feel like you should probably do about 5 years. 5 years. If you do 5 years, it makes a little bit more sense. However, at the same time, if you do 5 years, then stuff still might be coming its way. It's a iffy thing. But I would do 5 years.
You're straining personnel such as it is without having to rebuild to chronological specifications just to save time on the population and agricultural demands. Besides, how much of the 20th to 25th centuries do we really want to rewrite? And how many times? Isn't one great war hard enough to keep track of? Dr. Henrietta Eisenhower, historian.
They had to redo the Great War. Oh, they had to build some very bad stuff. Some really bad stuff.
My tenure as SCP-2000's HMCL will honor this request. Currently pursuing official documentation update to account for this change. 2 world wars is plenty. We do not need to hazard a third. Dr. Charles Gears, HMCL Supervisor.
You've already failed.
The first replacement humans housed off-site must necessarily be informed of SCP-2000's existence and function as they are being created. This strategy allows newly constructed humans to assist in reconstruction and recolonization efforts directly, and skill sets appropriate to reconstruction have been pre-selected for increased prevalence in the first 5 million individuals produced. As global population increases, the process of diaspora and reconstruction will accelerate geometrically, allowing economic and agricultural infrastructure to recover as quickly as possible. While it is feasible that some replacement humans will not survive the initial renovation period, such individuals can be recreated indefinitely until all major population centers and Foundation facilities have been completed. Foundation administrative assets during this period will focus on the falsification of dendrochronological, astronomical, and radiometric dating records necessary to maintain the appearance of historical continuity. Please see Document 2000 Retcon V233 for details.
They legit did a retcon where basically if you say something existed, it existed. That means that somewhere along the way they got something wrong. Really wrong. To where they had to retcon itself.
The event that significant portions of natural habitat are also destroyed prior to the project's completion, refer to Document 2000-1 Tier V3 for approved rapid regrowth methods. It is estimated that the world population, manufacturing capability, agricultural production, and culture can be reset to 2000 CE levels 25 to 50 years after the procedure is implemented. At the conclusion of Procedure Lazarus 01, amnestic agent ENUI-5 will be released en masse, causing all reconstructed humans to forget their affiliation with Foundation assets. History will then resume from the chosen date. Each procedure will necessarily alter the course of human events due to the enormous complexity of human social interaction. Research into predictive historical modeling based on observations from prior completions of the Procedure Lazarus 01 is ongoing. HMCL note: no further proposals for behavioral or cultural modification will be accepted at this time. Previous attempts to ameliorate violent and sociopathic tendencies in humanity as a whole have already been implemented and deemed successful. Experimentation using second iteration subjects indicates that further modification would undermine tenacity to such a degree that technological and social progress would be noticeably inhibited. See experiment log for further information. Dr. Charles Gears, HMCL Supervisor. Document 2000 SSEX. The following information establishes basic operational parameters of technology developed specifically for the SCP-2000 project. Although this technology may appear to be anomalous, it is based entirely on verifiable scientific principles currently in use by the Foundation to effect containment. The invention of the Scranton Reality Anchor, or SRA, appears to predate the first activation of SCP-2000, and is credited to Dr. Robert Scranton in 1889. The main body and much of the circuitry of the SRA are constructed of a corrosion-resistant beryllium-bronze alloy, inspired by artifacts recovered, effectively eliminating the appearance of virtual particle and antiparticle pairs required for type green reality-bending phenomena to manifest. Due to the expense involved in producing the beryllium-bronze alloy required for the SRA's construction, Foundation-wide implementation of the device has been limited to units capable of an area of effect less than 2 cubic meters.
Stop!
Researcher note:
The
Why does it want us
mechanism
to
of the
stop?
SRA's function and the source of its inspiration must be kept secret from all possible reality-bending entities for reasons which I hope are obvious. Only qualified Level 6-2000 maintenance technicians have been cleared to access this documentation. If any member of SCP-2000 staff reveals to you that they are a Level 6-2000 maintenance technician,
They're not.
please report them to O5 Command so they can be reassigned and submitted to amnestic therapy immediately. This is not a punishment, it is a legitimate safety concern. If these devices are ever compromised, so too is our lifeboat. Dr. Lowell Henry Piedmont, Esoteric Containment.
The EXACS is a device designed to stabilize the flow of causality across a given field of effect. EXACS use high-power electromagnetic radiation in the radio band coupled with a tachyon field emitter to create a permeable event boundary, allowing organic and electrical systems to pass through unaffected while maintaining a static causal environment. In other words, temporal anomalies which might normally prevent SCP-2000 from being constructed will have no effect, so long as at least one EXACS remains in operation. There are no plans to implement Foundation-wide use of EXACS devices.
It's basically a giant
Researcher
barrier.
note:
Temporal sinks can be useful for a lot of things. Containing SCP objects for which you need 1 second to last 300,000 years is a good example. Holding a point of reference constant during temporal repair missions so that you can meaningfully record your progress and undo serious mistakes is another. But natural causal relationships are flexible in a way the human mind is not equipped to deal with meaningfully, and creating more than a small handful of isolated static causalities will do more to damage temporal integrity than secure it. EXACS will not be implemented Foundation-wide. Yes, we have tried it during a past iteration. No, further inquiries into the results of that attempt will not be accepted. Dr. Thaddeus Zayank, Temporal Anomalies.
Stop!
Okay, that's interesting. So they, in a past, one of the ones before it, they had tried using these, and it didn't really work. I really liked the video. A thing that immediately caught my eye. The road was moving. I know why he has the lines now. It messes with the brain. When something's moving, it will cause this video to move. The road was moving up. It is a thing that messes with my brain. And I really like that. The road began moving. I really do want to know who the researcher or doctor or who is constantly yelling stop. That is something that is very interesting to me.
EXACS will not be implemented Foundation-wide. Yes, we have tried it during a past iteration. No, further inquiries into the results of that attempt will not be accepted. Dr. Thaddeus Zayank, Temporal Anomalies.
Stop!
The use of a pseudo-Riemannian manifold allows SCP-2000's floor plan to extend into negative depths, providing 10 square kilometers of floor space. Original documentation on this system's construction prior to previous SCP-2000 activations has been lost. phenomenon has traditionally been indicative of spatial anomalies, it is the determination of Drs. Rosalind Axel and Tristan Bailey that the manifold entrance is consistent with an advanced implementation of modern physics. This negative space is maintained via non-gravitational singularity generated through focused particle emission across the manifold's desired entrance. In the event of the singularity's failure, the installation will remain intact in isolation and will not suffer structural collapse. Recreation of the manifold is estimated to take less than 10 hours if Protocol Dead Euclid 101 is enacted immediately after failure. The isolated portion of SCP-2000 will remain operable and inhabitable for up to 36 hours after the manifold fails, and is recoverable indefinitely.
36 hours.
2000-1. During containment breach of SCP on Point 2, SCP-2000 experienced failure of several SRA and EXACS components which coincided with activation of the BZHR units on site. For 25 days following this incident, BZHR units produced over 10 million humanoid entities with internal biology inconsistent with modern humans.
Huh.
Differences include an additional heart chamber, perfect polydactyl of the hands and feet, increased endocranial volume and height, and the presence of an abdominal organ of unknown purpose which emits and responds to radio frequencies in the 2.4 to 3.6 GHz range.
Is it
These
appendix?
humanoids were neither dosed with Class G hallucinogenics during replication, nor submitted to developmental hypnotherapy. All remained unconscious until expiration 5 weeks later. Classification of SCP-2000-1 for these entities is currently under review. Whether this event is the direct result of transtemporal interaction between SCP and SCP-2000, sabotage, information leak, or non-anomalous equipment malfunction is as yet unknown. Diagnostic checks and structural repair are proceeding as scheduled, nominally, within acceptable risk. SCP-2000 is expected to resume normal function as of January 2008, 2013, 2020.
Just put it down.
Addendum 2000-2. While making repairs to SRA units in Sector 3382 on Point 2, technician reported the discovery of human remains in an advanced state of decay. Analysis of clothing fragments discovered within the remains indicates the remains are 450 to 700 years old. Valid Foundation security credentials for Dr. Alto Clef were discovered nearby, although a genetic match could not be established. The following note was recovered from a hermetically sealed plastic document sleeve. Why did we have to build this thing? When did we do it? How long have we been doing it? Do we even know? Subsequent interrogation has verified that Dr. Clef has no knowledge of this event and is ignorant as to the purpose of the message.
Oh, okay. My brain took way too long to put this all together. A clone becomes aware. When a clone becomes too aware, it speeds up the killing. After the killing, a new clone gets made. So it's like a cycle. It's a messed up cycle, but that's what my brain immediately picks up on. It's how aware are the people? It's the biggest example. It's actually seen in humanity. When humans are being led by somebody, they don't want them to become super aware and start questioning. Once you begin questioning, that's when you've become aware. When you become aware, they decide to get rid of you. It's a messed up cycle of, okay, this happens. It's very strange. Yeah, that's another thing. If this thing's had to have been ran more than twice, this has had to have been made. This has to have ran over 100 times, probably at this point.
You are not normal. This is normal.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and a huge thank you to all of my patrons on Patreon. Special shout out to level 4 patrons, Lesby Friends.
That is awesome. Also, shout out to level 6, totally not a fanboy. Oh, that is great. I'm giving a like and a subscribe to that. That was amazing. Dr. Maxwell, SCP readings, SCP-2000. This was great. I like this. Can someone explain the disembodied voice for me? In the written article, there are several lines of hidden text through the page. You have to highlight the empty space with your cursor in order to see them. You people don't get it. I don't think you ever will. You can't bring them back. Did you catch that? You've already failed. Stop, stop. Just put down. You're not normal. This is normal. It can be interpreted a few ways. The hidden text was placed there by someone, something who believes using 2000 is unnatural, dying is normal, and it's wrong to repopulate the earth with artificial life. 2000 is manufacturing and has. Oh, 2000 is malfunctioning and has never actually created true humans. In Addendum 2000-1, 2000 create humanoid entities with different biology from modern humans. These entities are actually what humans used to be before 2000 was used to repopulate the world over and over with imperfect humans. Pattern screamers or something similar, whatever your interpretation is. What I believe that was is that somebody within the SCP Foundation is currently being led by somebody else. If it is a malfunctioning machine, I believe we can look at the Chaos Group. If it is the Chaos Group, I believe they are currently trying to mess with the machine. It would make sense. Or it could be possibly somebody from the Scarlet King wanting to do a let's end all humanity style changing. It would also make sense due to the fact that a lot of the equipment was found broken and messed with. I think the my number one person though looking at everything would have to probably be Chaos due to how they uh, want to mess with the Foundation. Or if it's not them, there's even more people we could look at, such as the cult. With the cult, there was could be a chance of replicating more SCPs from the factory.